YouTube, hey, it's Sean with Stealing Second here. Wanted to come to you guys and do a video today, just kind of going through some of my most cherished cards and how those cards got into my collection. Wanted to tell you the backstory of the intro into my early years of collecting, and these cards are a major pillar of why, who, and what I collect today. So I wanted to give you guys that story so you can get a little bit more insight on me. So let's jump into it before we get to the cards. When I was growing up, it was the early 90s. When I first started getting into collecting, it was back in the time where there wasn't the big inserts in cards, autographs, these big money cards. I mean, there was some, but at the time, nothing like today's market. So you, or at least I, would buy packs, and what I pulled out of those packs is what I collected. And this is also prior to major cable networks, also prior to a lot of satellite television like we have today. So we had local channels that you tuned into, and in my area in northern Indiana where I grew up, we had WGN network. The WGN network was the Chicago Cubs network, so I grew up, watching the Chicago Cubs in and out every day and every week, and they're still to this day my favorite ball club, and I love the players, collect the players, and still watch the games regularly. Also, so a little bit more into the depth of my collection. So when I was young, we were a lower middle class family, didn't have a ton of extra money, but my parents, they did well. They helped when they could. They would give me loose change and a buck here or there. I could run down to our local gas station or grocery store and pick up a pack of cards. And when I was a child, that was awesome. I mean, that was the joy of all of it, was cracking that wax pack and who's going to be the big star or the rookie you're going to pull from that pack. Those were the primary focuses in my early time. But, collecting, back then it was just the other kids, and it wasn't taken real serious. But I did have a neighbor when I was growing up, and they were an elderly couple, and we were very close to them as a family, and so close that we actually called them Papaw and Mamaw. But Papaw, he was a big Cincinnati Reds fan. Couldn't watch the games on local channels, so he would always have a radio going in his living room with the games on. And this is not that long ago. This is early 90s, and it sounds like something from like the 50s, but probably where he got that from his generation. But he would always have a radio going and always had games on, but primarily Cincinnati Reds. He collected baseball cards and had one of the most thorough and amazing baseball card collections I've ever even heard of, let alone got to see when I was a younger kid. He would show me some of his cards and share stories with them, and the facts and stats and little stories about the players, and it really intrigued me when I was a kid, to the point where I started really wanting to kind of zone my collecting in on primarily Chicago Cubs. And the player at the time that I was obsessed with was Ryne Sandberg, and I'm still obsessed with Ryne Sandberg. And I am saying Ryan, not Ryan. I'm just a hillbilly, so it all kinds of sounds the same. But I was obsessed with Ryne Sandberg growing up, and collected all of his cards. But there was cards prior to my collecting years that I really couldn't get my hands on. We could go to the local card shop, but back then for pricing, it was whatever Beckett priced it. That's what the card shop asked, no matter the condition. In their eyes, everything they sold was in mint condition, at least my local shop, and prices were pretty high. So kind of buying a lot of these individual cards, that would eaten up my whole budget for a month as a kid on what I could get for baseball cards by buying one baseball card that wasn't necessarily a really high-end card or anything. So for me back then, it made more sense just to have fun. Let's get a pack and see if I can hit the newer cards, and collect as many as possible, and I could get other stars as well. On that note, so my neighbor Papaw, he knew this side of my collecting, and whenever he would go through some of his binders and bring them out and let me look at his cards, and he had a lot of cards and top loaders too. I would just be in awe on him and some of the old classics he had, and he was a really big time set collector, more than anything. But his secondary collections were Pete Rose and Johnny Bench collections, and I still to this day think it was some of the most thorough collections I've ever seen in my life, of these guys. But one year for my birthday, for the whole year I'd just been asking for baseball cards, over and over for the gift. So he surprised me on my birthday and came over with Memo, and they gave me a card. We had cake and ice cream, birthday party, typical party for, I think I was probably 8 or 9 at the time. And then he gave me a stack of baseball cards, in a little birthday bag, and I went through, and those have been some of my most cherished cards ever, since that collection. And what really was the peak of it was when I opened those. I was so ecstatic and so happy because he gave me a card from Ryan Sandberg's second year, 1984, all the way to 1990, which was present time at that moment. And they were in great shape, all in top loaders, and I was just ecstatic. But they can't help it, and I'm not going to deny it or lie about it, but there was a part of me that was like, oh, there's no Sandberg rookie in here. Man, that stinks. But, back then at this time, the Sandberg rookie was, I think, a $50 baseball card at your local card shop. And in 1990, that was a lot of money, but it was also a lot of money for, I think, a 7, 8-year-old kid, to even comprehend spending $50 on a baseball card. So the party went on, and later that day, as I showed all the cards to everybody and kept opening presents, things like that, my stepfather came out with a package and handed it to me, and I'd opened it up, and it actually was the 1983 Topps Ryan Sandberg rookie card. So it kind of goes down, and that was amazing to me, because then not only did I not have I had the Sandberg rookie card, but I also had a Sandberg for every year prior to my collecting. So I felt like I had the most thorough, greatest collection ever of Ryan Sandberg at that time, and showed it to everybody, and still was in love. But that was one of the moments in my baseball collecting that really sparked like how important it was to me, and how it made me feel to get these cards, and how getting them as gifts was amazing. From a neighbor who was an older collector, that these cards meant very little to him, but he knew would make a major impact on me. So that was awesome. I mean, that was really life-changing for me, on a certain level. And then my stepfather giving me the rookie card on that birthday as well, and completing my set, it was just unbelievable. Since then, obviously, my set has gotten much more thorough. I'm kind of a super collector when it comes to Ryan Sandberg cards. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Sandberg cards, probably thousands, I don't know. Never counted them, but I've tried to make it one of the most thorough sets anyone could ever imagine when it comes to Ryan Sandberg, and I primarily just collect his playing days. I don't really get into a lot of the later cards that came after his retirement. They're neat, they're cool, but sometimes people want a lot of money for these cards, and in my mind, they're reprints. They're not authentic cards. And I'm not knocking anyone that does collecting those. Just for my personal collection, it's just not something I put a lot of time into. Will I pick up some of those? Yeah, sure. If I find them, the price is right on them, they're not crazy. But I collect those in the raw primarily, and I'll pick them up here and there. But for the way I budget, I don't have a big budget for cards when I go to shops or shows, or even shopping online. So I do watch what I get and not get careless on some stuff. But I wanted to give you guys that story, and let you kind of think about that. And I would love to see videos and also hear from you guys. What was one of the most pivotal moments in your collecting that really just launched you into the next level and pushed you to that next stage. Okay, guys, I had to leave an edit line in there. I had this rolling into a second part of the video where I was actually going to show you the cards. But you're going to have to hang tight, have another video coming where I'll upload the video of the actual cards and go through those with you. So please check that out. For some reason, my YouTube editing video is telling me my video is too long and it won't allow me to upload it. So that will be in a part 2. This will be part 1. If you like what you've heard so far, want to share your story or have a question, feel free to leave a comment below. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. If you like my story and yours is similar, smash that like button and let me know. If you disliked it, you can smash that button too, and it won't hurt my feelings. So either way, guys, please leave me a comment, like, subscribe, and stay tuned and check out my second video, part 2 to this, where I'll show you the cards. Thanks. Bye.